Hey guys, what's up? So in this video we will be talking about reproduction in organisms. This is a very crucial introductory part. Obviously I've already dealt with the part 1.1 and 1.2 of introduction to AIPMT and AIMS, that is pre-medical test in India. Hope you have watched the videos. This is the YouTube channel An Academy. Do follow it to get the regular updates. And this is the biology part 1, and we will be dealing with reproduction in organism. It is a basic introduction. So it's a long time since I completed my MBBS, but do feel good about biology and I keep reading it a lot. So I've already made a lot of video for civil service preparation, so I hope you like these videos as well, and do spread the word of this education revolution. Tell as many friends as you can, and if you have any query or doubt, you can ask on the Facebook page, facebook.com/romansenior.official, or you can comment below the video on YouTube or below on the post. Anyway, so what is reproduction? So whenever the term reproduction comes to mind, it is basically a biological process. It is one of the 7 properties which distinguish living versus non-living organisms, like movement, reproduction, thinking, responding to environmental stimulus, growth, development, etc. In the process, in the organism, it gives rise to offspring similar to itself. Just it will not be exactly same, then it will be called as asexual reproduction, but similar, somewhat similar. You can identify that organism similar. बिल्कुल अलग नहीं होगा, chimpanzee के dog पैदा नहीं होगा. It will not happen like that. So basically it's a cycle of birth, growth and death. So we have all born, and most of you are teenagers who are listening to this. So we will grow and we will die eventually, most of us anyway. Some of us might not grow that much and die before, unfortunately, because of various diseases. Most of us will grow to healthy old age and then we will die. Then there are phases of growth in this. The first is the juvenile phase. It's also called the pre-pubertal phase. Basically in human beings it lasts from 10 to 14 years. It's slightly less in females and more in males. So juvenile phase is the period of growth to attain sexual maturity. So females attain sexual maturity slightly earlier than males. It is followed by the reproductive phase, in which the reproduction takes place. It extends in case of human females from 15 to 45, something like that, but it can extend from as wide as 10 to 52 also. It depends on the menstrual cycle, how long it lasts. And in case of human males, it is let's say from 12 or 14 years till indefinite. There is no end of reproductive phase in human males. However, senescent phase does occur in every one of us, and it is characterized by concomitant changes like slowing of metabolism, etc., which finally leads to our death. The organ functions fail, the organ system fail. We are kidney functions decreases, liver function decreases. We are slow to respond. We do not hear properly. We do not see properly. So all these features are of senescence. Then these phases of growth are regulated by interaction of hormones. Let's say in case of plant, there are 5 hormones. We all know: auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, and ethylene. And in case of human beings, let's say it is GnRH, which is secreted by hypothalamus. Then it goes to pituitary, which releases LH. GnRH is gonadotropin releasing hormone. Then pituitary releases LH and FSH, that is, these are what are called as GN, that is gonadotropins, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. LH in case of males is also called as interstitial cells stimulating hormone, ICSH, also called as, because it also acts on Leydig cells to release testosterone. And FSH causes these causes also release of estrogen in females. So finally interaction of these hormones plus growth hormone is obviously there. So interaction of all these hormones makes us grow. Then there are obviously various environmental factors, like especially in case of caterpillar and in case of growth of butterfly, we can obviously see that though the lifespan of butterfly is just 1 to 2 weeks, as we all know, but the transformation from caterpillar, larva, etc., it is completely affected by environmental conditions. Now reproduction is affected by 3 things. It is given in NCERT, so please follow. Organisms, habitat, obviously their internal physiology. So those who live only for 1 to 2 days have to reproduce in the same day, while other individuals who live longer obviously have better chances to reproduce in future life. So it depends on your particular physiology, your lifespan, your life cycle, each and everything. And this is a key point, also several other factors. तो अगर आपको एमसीक्यू में पूछें कि व्हाट इज रिप्रोडक्शन अफेक्टेड बाय, सो अगर ए, बी और सी ये ऑप्शन है और डी नन ऑफ द अबव है, तो आंसर इज नन ऑफ द अबव, बिकॉज ऑल दीज थ्री आर important. So several other factors can include breeding season, nutrition availability, etc., etc. So all these factors contribute towards the reproduction. What is lifespan? The moment you are born, not the fertilization of egg, the born plus your natural death of an organism is called its lifespan. And the key feature is that no definite relation is with body size. So example, I can quote butterfly, although it lives for 1 to 2 weeks, there are similar birds which may live for 5 to 10 years of the almost similar size. Similarly, crow and parrots are not different in sizes, but crow is 15 years while parrot is 140 years. Can you imagine? Now, although crocodile is far larger than tortoise, crocodile can be up to 20 feet, especially the saltwater crocodile, but they can only live up to 60 years, while tortoise can go up to 140 years. The average lifespan varies from 100 to 150 years. Similarly, lifespan keeps on varying of individuals, it depends. So the key feature here is no individual is immortal except single celled organism. Now why is that? Why do you think that? Basically, when single celled organism they divide, the individual organism divides into two parts. Okay, so let's assume this is an organism, this is the nucleus, it undergoes binary fission. So it is something like this. The nucleus also divides, half goes here, half goes here, and finally there are two completely independent daughter cells. So this binary fission which is happening in amoeba, this is nucleus. So the key feature is the parent is never dying, it just converts into two daughter cells. So that is why single celled organisms are immortal. Now we come to types of reproduction. There are three types of them: asexual, sexual, and parthenogenesis. So we will deal with each one of them now. So as I said, life is not correlated with body size of organism. In case of parrot it can be 140 years, while in case of crow it is merely 15 years, though the size is not very different. Asexual reproduction. This is also called as somatic reproduction. Soma means body. So basically there is no differentiation between autosomes and allosomes. That is, autosomes are the 22 chromosomes in human beings. Allosomes, that is sex chromosomes, they are called as X, Y, etc. They are also called as sex chromosome. Autosome and sex chromosome. So offspring produced here are clone. They are morphologically and genetically similar individuals. So a group of morphologically and genetically similar individuals is called as clone, but individual of a clone is called as ramete. Is that absolutely understood? अभी तक कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बहुत बढ़िया. And Ian Wilmot in 1996 and 97 he researched and finally developed the first clone mammal called as Dolly sheep. It lived for some time and finally died of liver and kidney diseases. That's a different issue altogether. First clone calf is called as Frosty, and now we have almost everything cloned. So Inzaz is the also a cloned camel, and likewise we have almost everything cloned. So common among single celled organisms, obviously single celled organisms, plus in some plants and animals who have relatively simple organization. जैसे जैसे complexity बढ़ती है, asexual reproduction is obviously replaced by higher level of good reproduction that are called as sexual reproduction. So let's I've already told you. So also, you know, budding in yeast, how it happens. So let's say this is an yeast. So these are the structure, this is a parent cell, and finally a bud will arise from here, and eventually the bud will outgrow like this, and this is called as the bud, bud. This is the parent cell, and finally it will separate. So this is budding in yeast. I've already told you that in case of amoeba, a nucleus will divide and the parent cell will transform into daughter cell by binary fission. So the types of binary fission depend on the plane of cytoplasmic division. So now it is also very important. Let's see here. So in case of amoeba it is completely irregular, so you don't have any particular plane. So अगर आपके पास कोई specific plane नहीं है, that is called as simple or irregular binary fission. Example in case of amoeba. Then we have the transverse plane. So let's say this is an organism. So if the division happens horizontally, it is called as transverse. So in case of longitudinal, so let's say this is an organism, so this is longitudinal, and if this is an organism, so if this is happening like this, these are called as oblique. Now I'll show you some of the asexual reproductive structures. So here let's say this is the something like this are They are the zoospores of Chlamydomonas. So just remember them. They are the diagrams. They are available in NCERT. You can download NCERT from ncert.nic.in. Similarly, in case of penicillium, you will find something like these structures. So, and on top you will find something like this. So they are called as conidia of penicillium. And finally we have something like this, and you will have a structure like this which is filled by something, and these are the spongy structure. They are called as gemmules, gemmules. So they are the different asexual reproductive structure. Finally we also have buds in case of hydra. So in case of multiple fission, the nucleus divides amitotically several times. So amitotic division means what? The parent remains the same, followed by cytokinesis. So example will include amoeba in case of unfavorable condition undergoes multiple fission. Then in case of schizogony, it happens in plasmodium. It is the agent which causes malaria. So when it is in human blood, it undergoes schizogony. And then sporogony, it is the same plasmodium but it undergoes in the vector, that is the female anopheles mosquito. Is that understood? So these are the type of multiple fission. तो amoeba में कैसे होता है? See, amoeba is an unfavorable condition. Okay, it can be very salty environment or very cold environment. So ये क्या करता है? इसके जो false feet होते हैं, there are false feet of amoeba. They are called as pseudopodia. So they are withdrawn. And finally it secretes 3-layered covering which is called as encystation around it. Okay, जैसी ही फेवरेबल कंडीशन आती है, ये तब तक पड़ा रहता है एनसिस्टेशन में. नाउ इट डिवाइड्स बाय मल्टीपल फिजन. ओके, इट प्रोड्यूस व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज सूडोपोडियोस्पोर्स. अभी जो सूडोपोडियोस्पोर्स हैं, जो सूडोपोडिया, दे आर कॉल्ड एज फॉल्स पीट. तो अमीबा ऐसा होगा तो एक छोटा सा प्रोजेक्शन निकला रहेगा इससे. तो दे आर कॉल्ड एज फॉल्स पीट ऑफ अमीबा. शूडो मीन्स फॉल्स, पोडिया मीन्स लेग्स. तो सिस्ट वॉल जो होगी अब वो बर्स्ट हो जाएगी, जो एनसिस्टेशन हुआ था. फाइनली स्पोर्स विल बी लिबरेटेड and they will grow into amoeba. This process is called as sporulation. So this was an example of multiple fission in case of amoeba in unfavorable condition. Now we have something called as strobilation. It happens in case of Aurelia jellyfish belong to phylum Coelenterata. अपना याद करो, पढ़ाई करो बिल्कुल concentrate करके. Now strobila formation happens. It is a type of transverse budding. I have already told you, if the plane is something like this is called as transverse budding. And also proglotted formation and tapeworm. So these are extremely keywords, please remember them. And finally we have budding, which is the bud formation. They can be of two types. One is exogenous, other is endogenous. So exogenous occurs in favorable conditions. Example in case of hydra and sponge. While endogenous occurs in case of unfavorable condition. Example I have told you, gemmules in sponge and oidea or edea of rhizopus. Is that understood? So please remember these examples, they will help you a lot. So I will show you something on now plasmotomy. What do you mean by plasmotomy? Usually क्या होता है, अपन ने आज तक जितनी भी सेल डिवीजन पढ़ी है उसमें हमेशा जो न्यूक्लियर डिवीजन होती है दैट occurs फर्स्ट एंड देन साइटोप्लाज्म डिवाइड्स. हाउएवर अगर उल्टा होता है, जैसे पीलोमिक्सिया में इट हैपन्स उल्टा, दैट इज मल्टी न्यूक्लियेट प्रोटोजोवन है, उसमें पहले साइटोप्लाज्म डिवाइड होता है. तो साइटोप्लाज्म डिवाइड हो गया, साइटोप्लाज्म डिवाइड हो गया तो न्यूक्लियर डिवीजन होगा, तो ऑब्वियसली इट विल रिजल्ट इनटू अ 2 और मोर न्यूक्लियस पर इंडिविजुअल. सो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज अ मल्टी न्यूक्लियेट प्रोटोजोवन. अब फ्रैगमेंटेशन क्या होता है? लेट्स से दिस इज अ पेरेंट, इट जस्ट डिवाइड्स इनटू डिफरेंट पार्ट्स. सो दीज आर द फ्रैगमेंट्स एंड ईच एंड एवरी पार्ट गिव राइज टू न्यू ऑर्गेनिज्म. इट हैपेंस इन वेरी कॉमन इन केस ऑफ स्टारफिश बिलोंग टू फाइलम. कमेंट करना नीचे. देन वी हैव स्पॉन्जेस, हाइड्रा एंड प्लेनेरिया. And through spatial reproductive structures, example, this is a very key important line, इसको याद रखना है, NCERT की लाइन है. Example occurs in zoospores in case of fungi and algae. So some common asexual reproductive structure, I have already drawn the diagram, please see it from NCERT. It is figure 1.3 of NCERT. That is conidia of penicillium, buds in case of hydra and gemmules in case of sponges. So this is a case of buds in case of hydra. So as you can very well see, this is the mouth of hydra and finally this is a bud and it will grow into a separate organism through asexual reproduction. Now we have vegetative propagation in plants. Natural, we have two types, natural and artificial. So now vegetative propagules, what are these? They are the single unit of vegetative propagation. and they are capable of giving rise to new individual. Obviously asexual reproduction चल रहा है अभी तक. So they can be 5 types. पहला हो सकता है modification of underground stem. किस में होता है भाई, सबको पता है, राइजोम होता है, जिंजर, अदरक की चाय बनाते हैं अपन. ट्यूबर इन केस ऑफ पोटैटो, आलू. बल्ब इन केस ऑफ ऑनियन. एंड कॉर्म, CORM, कॉर्न नहीं है, मक्का नहीं है, इन केस ऑफ जमीकंद. Then second we have root propagation. It is in case of sweet potato, then asparagus, tapioca and dahlia. Okay, then finally we have leaves propagation in case of bryophyllum, very commonly, and then kalanchoe. Then we have small buds. Small bud तीन जगह से निकलती, तीन अलग अलग plants में. In case of agave, it happens near flower, also called as bulbil. In case of wild yam, it happens near leaf axil, and in case of oxalis, it happens near tuberous roots. So all these three are small buds and they give rise to new plants. So we also have something called as subaerial modifications. Example, pistia, chrysanthemum, pineapple, सब जूस पीते हैं इसका. And then you have ecornia. The structure from which ecornia grows is called as offset. So I'll draw you some diagrams now. So in case of potato, you will see a potato like this, and then you will have something like this. So these are called as eyes of potato, and you will see some buds like appearing like this. So they are called as germinating eye buds of potato. So this will be given, please mark it, please see the diagram. And then you have obviously bulbil of agave. Agave is something like this. A plant will be given like this, and it will be coming like this. So these are called as agave or bulbil of agave. This is agave plant. Bulbil is bulbil. Then we have ecornia. So I'll show you the pics also. So something like this is the plant, and a structure which is coming out of this like this, and this is the plant again. So this is the offset of ecornia, OFFSET. And in case of bryophyllum, what you will see is that there is a leaf and there are some buds are coming out of it, something like this. So these are the adventitious buds in case of bryophyllum. And finally we have ginger, so out of which single thing, they are called as nodes. And finally we have something arising out of it, they are called as buds. And the thing which are fiber like structure, they are called as adventitious roots. So these are the important vegetative propagules in angiosperms. So ecornia, let's talk about it in detail. This is called as water hyacinth, also called as terror of Bengal. It is a scourge of water bodies. What happens is, ये क्या होता है, एक पेड़ आया था बाहर से, इन्वेजिव वीड बोलते हैं इनको, एक्सोटिक स्पीसीज बोलते हैं. ये क्या होता है, लोकल स्पीसीज से compete करते हैं, they compete with the local species and then they destroy them. So in an act of destruction, what happens is they cannot utilize the nutrition, and finally they grow like anything. Especially they grow in standing water. Even you will fall down in it, you will not see the water. Finally they drains all the oxygen from the water, and which leads to death of fishes. So this is the characteristic feature of ecornia, also called as water hyacinth. Why was it introduced in India? Because of its beautiful flowers and beautiful shape of leaves. It looks good, I'll give it that. So you can see it looks very beautiful, but can you see this water body? Can you see water at all in this? It is completely covered by cornea. That is why it is called as scourge of water bodies or terror of Bengal. So this is again an example of ecornia crassipes. Now vegetative propagation in plants, that was natural. Now we come to artificial. So obviously stem cutting खूब करते हैं घर पे यार. रोज, obviously sugar cane, whenever you go to sugar cane field आप देखोगे जो फार्मर होगा ऊपर से काट देता है, and then it is again utilized for growing sugar cane. It happens in croton, tapioca and China rose as well. Root cutting, very commonly done in case of lemon and tamarind. Tamarind is, बताना comments में नीचे. Then grafting. What is grafting? ग्राफ्टिंग में क्या होता है, किसी का जो प्लांट का वीक होता है ना रूट सिस्टम, तो उसकी रूट उखाड़ के आप लगा नहीं सकते उसको. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज वी ग्राफ्ट टू प्लांट्स टुगेदर. लाइक किडनी आप मेरी निकाल के अपने में लगा लो इफ यू नीड इट, समथिंग लाइक दैट इज कॉल्ड एज ग्राफ्टिंग. सो फॉर प्लांट्स हैविंग वीक रूट सिस्टम, दिस इज ग्राफ्टिंग. इट जॉइंस पार्ट ऑफ टू प्लांट्स of same or allied species. Now the characteristic feature is very important, especially important for AIMS assertion region question, that plant should have cambium for secondary growth. अब ये भी पूछते हैं, इतने गधे हैं कि ये भी पूछेंगे कि किस पे होनी चाहिए. So especially it should be there for stalk, not scion. सो जो ये प्लांट होता है ना, ये कॉल्ड है स्टॉक, और जिसके ऊपर जो ग्राफ्ट लगाते हो उसको बोलते हैं सियॉन या स्कियॉन। तो इस पे तो 100% होना चाहिए कैम्बियम, बिकॉज इट इज नेसेसरी फॉर सेकेंडरी ग्रोथ एंड रिसेप्शन ऑफ ग्राफ्ट। और स्कियॉन पे हो तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, नहीं हो तो भी चल जाएगा, बट इट इज 100% कंपल्सरी फॉर स्टॉक। Now the main part of the graft is stalk, as I've already told you, and portion which is to be grafted on stalk is called as scion. So इसका एग्जाम्पल क्या होगा, मैंगो, एप्पल, पियर, सिट्रस, गुआवा, रबर प्लांट, बहुत कॉमनली होता है। लेयरिंग में क्या करते हैं, जैसे लाइक लेट्स अज्यूम दिस इज अ प्लांट, ओके, तो इसकी एक छोटी सी ब्रांच यहाँ से निकल रही है, दिस इज अ सॉइल लेवल, सो वी पुट दिस ब्रांच इनटू द सॉइल, ओके, एंड इट बी कवर्ड बाय मॉइस्ट सॉइल। बस उसको बेंड करते हैं एंड दे कवर इट बाय मॉइस्ट सॉइल। वेरी कॉमनली डन इन रोज, जैस्मिन, लेमन एक्सेट्रा। ट्रेंच लेयरिंग ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, लेकिन एक बार क्वेश्चन आया था इसलिए पढ़ा रहा हूँ। जो सॉफ्ट बेसल ब्रांच इज द की वर्ड इन दिस, मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ ऑलवेज फोकस ऑन की वर्ड एंड की फ्रेजेस। सो सॉफ्ट बेसल ब्रांच इज पैक्ड इन हॉरिजॉन्टल सॉइल पिट, दैट्स इट, जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस। गूटी में क्या होता है, हेल्दी एंड वुडी ब्रांच सेलेक्टेड, ठीक है, मतलब बहुत हेल्दी सी अच्छी सी ब्रांच लेते हैं, उसकी जो बार्क होती है दैट इज स्लाइस्ड ऑफ, लिविंग बिहाइंड जाइलम, फ्लोएम एक्सेट्रा। रिंग फॉर्म में स्लाइस करते हैं 3 to 5 सेंटीमीटर। देन प्लास्टर ऑफ ग्राफ्टिंग क्ले। अब यार पढ़ाने को तो आई कैन टीच यू ग्राफ्टिंग क्ले क्या होता है, किसका बना होता है, बट दैट इज नॉट नेसेसरी, बट यू शुड गेट द पॉइंट दैट आई विल टीच यू ओनली व्हाट इज एब्सोल्युटली नेसेसरी। फाइनली दिस ग्राफ्टिंग क्ले का जो प्लास्टर है दैट इज रैप्ड, एक कपड़े में लगा के उसके चारों तरफ लपेट देते हैं, एंड डीबार्क्ड पोर्शन, ऑब्वियसली इसकी बार्क निकालिए उसी के लपेटोगे, यू विल पुट इट ओनली ऑन दैट पोर्शन फ्रॉम विच बार्किंग हैज बीन रिमूव्ड, एंड फाइनली आफ्टर 2 to 3 months रूट्स इमर्ज हो जाती हैं, एंड देन फाइनली यू ग्रो अ न्यू प्लांट। एग्जाम्पल इन केस ऑफ लेमन, ऑरेंज, गुआवा, लीची। सो दिस इज एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ गूटी, एज यू कैन सी। सो ये पूरा का पूरा आपने डी बार्क किया, कैन यू सी दिस इज अ बार्क, दिस इज बार्क, दिस इज बार्क, बट देर इज नो बार्क हेयर। So finally this is ring of debarked or barked removed. This green structure is grafting clay. These are the adventitious roots which are coming out after 2 to 3 months, and this is the rag or the polythene covering. So I hope you like this video. See, I'll teach you very basics and I'll take you to the advanced level, but I'll not take you beyond what is needed for cracking this examination. या research नहीं करनी है बैठ के हमें. The only thing which will be taught is which will be coming in the exam. So just tell me what next topic you want me to explain and I'll do it, and if you want me to continue it, I'll do that as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. So this is the YouTube channel Unacademy Medical. Do subscribe, do tell your friends, because I'll keep uploading lectures on it. And this is the Facebook page, facebook.com/myname.official. You can also tweet your problem to me at Roman Saini. The only reason I'm doing is because I know while I was in 11th वहाँ कोई पढ़ाने वाला नहीं होता था, एंड एब्सोल्यूट 1 साल तक तो कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आया हो क्या रहा था. सो टू अवॉइड यू पीपल फ्रॉम दोज थिंग्स, आई एम जस्ट teaching you in a funnier way, in a very simple way. So please spread the word and help those who cannot afford coaching. And thank you for watching the video. Have an awesome day.